Hello everyone, how you doing? I hope you're all doing really well. I'm Lindsay, your host of the Heavy Metal Journal and writer for This Day in Metal, and I'm back with another New Metal Monday where I talk about my favourite new releases of the week, and I have 3 brand new albums that I want to talk about. But again, as always, before I begin, check out the description box below where you will find a Spotify playlist which will feature every single album that I talk about on my New Metal Monday videos, unless they are a Bandcamp only release, in which case I will get that noted. So if you do use Spotify, make sure to follow that playlist down below, which does get updated every single Monday as soon as this video goes live. If you don't use Spotify though, don't worry about it, because I will also include the band's Bandcamp pages or their YouTube pages, just so you can find the music that I'm talking about as easily as possible. Also, whilst you're there, check out the This Day in Metal website, where we give you breaking news in the metal world, full album reviews that break down albums track by track in a lot more detail, special features, interviews, so make sure to subscribe to that, because not only will it help me out, but it will also help out the This Day in Metal team. But like I said, 3 brand new albums that I want to talk about, and I'm just going to jump straight in. Okay, so the very first album that I want to talk about, I was all over the weekend, and I could not listen to this album enough, and that's Darkened with Defilers of the Light, and it's the 3rd studio album from the Swedish-Canadian death metal band. Now, this is a fantastic approach to classic death metal, but with a bit of a modern twist to it. And even though it is very melodic, I wouldn't go as far to say it's melodic death metal. There is a lot of melodic elements in this, but it is so crushingly hard. This album goes heavy, it goes hard, and it just completely obliterates you. And they're one of those death metal bands that do toe the line between crushing brutality and melody, but at the same time, the melody is ridiculously heavy as well. It has all of these fantastic elements that you can think of from the death metal genre rolled into one, and it's a very dynamic, enjoyable record. This is absolutely my favourite record that they've produced so far. It's just so amazing. So you have your furious riffage, your blistering blast beats, electrifying solos, really dark demonic gutturals that completely obliterate you. But as well as all of that speed and that aggression, there's also a lot of really cool groovy stompy stomps in it, lots of really subtle melodies that keep you hooked. They're so addictive, and there's very slight kind of subtle synthy moments throughout as well, not to mention the odd appearance of the choir vocalizations as well. Not only that, but there are a few acoustic moments. There's an instrumental that really breaks up the brutality and it keeps you on your toes. Really enjoyed this record. It's really dynamic and very addictive. Now, we all know by now that I absolutely adore my melodic death metal and all of that synthy goodness, but the one thing that I really like about this band is that even though they do have that melodic side to them, the melodies are still incredibly heavy, and the whole album just crushes you from beginning to end. I love it when a death metal band plays with that aggression, but they manage to incorporate a lot of melodies into that aggression that seems to make it more aggressive. Does that make any sense? I think I'm just rambling on here because I'm very excited about this album. I don't know if you can tell. But if you are a fan of the likes of Dismember, Memoriam, or Bolt Thrower, you're definitely going to want to get onto this. Plus, that album artwork is incredible. I like the fact that they've kept the same artist and kept the kind of same style and themes for all of their album artwork so far, and I absolutely love this. Definitely check it out. Don't sleep on this one. Okay, so next up on my list, we're going into the doom metal kind of element here with Golgotha, with Spreading the Wings of Hope, and it's the 6th studio album from the Spanish melodic death doom metal band. Now, I am very new to this band. I had not heard of them before until this album, and it's safe to say that I am a fan, and I am definitely going to be going into their discography after this video goes live. This record is stunning. It is so heartfelt and so emotive, but it rips your face off. It's incredibly dark, incredibly melancholic, but really heavy and devastating. The riffs and the guitar work in this record are absolutely amazing. So you have chugging riffs, haunting synths, really doomy atmosphere, thunderous drums, ethereal piano. But the thing I really liked about this is the contrast between the two vocal styles. So you have those guttural, demonic vocals that sound like they're coming from the pits of hell itself. But to contrast that, you also have the female clean vocals, which are very moody and very mournful and quite witch-like. They're very witchy. And the contrast between the two balance themselves out to create this beautifully remorseful sound that completely annihilates everything. I cannot get over how catchy, how beautifully remorseful, but so crushingly heavy this record is. You cannot help but get yourself drawn in to this record, and it just takes you on a journey, and the next thing you know, you've finished it and it's starting again. There's something really bewitching and it really entices you in, but it's very enjoyable, and there's some really cool catchy hooks in this as well. Another thing I really like about this record is it transitions between that swaying kind of doomy atmosphere, but then it also gets quite bouncy and fun, but also hard-hitting and really fast, and it incorporates lots of different elements, but it's very smooth and it flows so well. Gorgeous, gorgeous album. So if you're a fan of the likes of My Dying Bride, Paradise Lost, Insomnium, or if you even liked Tribunal's record from last year, definitely get onto this one. I loved this. This is beautiful. Okay, so last up on my list, but certainly by no means least, I have Warden with Legend, and it's the third studio album from the atmospheric black folk metal band from the UK. Now, this is a solo project fronted by the frontman of the other black metal band Fen, and Fen's last album made it into my top 40 of 2023, so if you haven't checked that out yet, highly suggest that you do so. And this is just a gorgeous album. It is so rich and so densely atmospheric. You should all know by now, if you're a regular to this channel, that when it comes to atmospheric melodic black metal or atmospheric folk black metal, I am all over that. And this is no exception whatsoever. This is a sprawling monster at just under an hour long, and it has so many layers to it. Now, the primary themes to this record are all about folklore, mythology, rugged landscapes, and that really does come across so well in the music. It's a cinematic, immersive soundscape telling tales of ancient times shrouded in black metal goodness and really ethereal, haunting folk elements. And there's just something really dark and grand and opulent about this record, but again, it hits so hard. It's so ridiculously heavy. I cannot get over how both gorgeous yet devastating this record is. You've got those haunting monastic vocalizations and chants, you've got the choirs, you've got those dissonant, rasping black metal vocals, shreddage. The guitars in this are immense, the blast beats are insane, and like I said, it's just got this very grand, opulent air about it as well. So if you are a fan of the likes of Fen, Sur, Belore, Wolves in the Throne Room, or Malice, you're definitely going to want to get onto this. Atmospheric, black folk metal with a little bit of melody seems to be my go-to this year. I seem to be covering that quite a lot on this channel, and to be honest with you, I'm not mad. Keep it coming. Get onto this record. I loved this. And that's it for this week's New Metal Monday. Now, I always ask you guys for your own recommendations in the comment section below. I have listened to Ulcerate. I tried listening to Ulcerate a few times now, and it just wasn't for me. There's nothing wrong with it. It just didn't stick with me. And you know what? That's absolutely okay. I've also tried Crypt Sermon. I'm not entirely sure about that, but to be honest with you, I've only listened to it twice. And usually I like to rinse an album a fair amount of times before I decide if I like it or not, because I like to give everything a fair chance. And time was just against me this weekend, unfortunately. So I could very well post a very quick reel or a very quick YouTube short just talking about Crypt Sermon if I do like it. There's nothing wrong with it. I just haven't given it enough time yet. And the reason I'm mentioning these two is because I've seen those albums just blow up over the weekend online, especially on metal Twitter. I wasn't a fan of Ulcerate. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. It just didn't stick with me. But with Crypt Sermon, I need to give it a little bit more time. So please stay tuned with that. But other than that, let me know what your recommendations are and I'll certainly get them added to my list. At the time that this video goes live, I will be in Glasgow at the Machine Head gig. So I will be talking about that in my next video. Very, very excited. I've been a huge fan of Machine Head for years. I did lose track with them a little bit after Unto the Locust, but their last album that they released in 2022 definitely reignited my love for the band. And like, share, subscribe. I really do appreciate your support as always. Thank you so much, and I will see you very soon in my next video.